Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are going to talk about my ever wonderful Pythagorean theorem. I love this stuff. Now, this stuff really works only when you have a right triangle. This part right here is the longest part, and that part is called the hypotenuse. I want to call it a hypotenuse. Hypotenuse. Now, the really cool thing about the other parts, this is called a leg. Let's make that a little bit darker. This is called a leg. But the cool thing, like I said, is that this is also considered a leg, which means they are interchangeable. So we're going to label this one A and this one B. So that can be A, that can be B, or we can have this one as A and this one as B. Doesn't really matter. But the thing that I love about this, what are the first three letters of the alphabet? Good. A, B, C. I'm just going to put squareds up here. So if we have a right triangle and we say that B is 3, A is 4, and we want to know what this is, which is also represented by C, and we don't know, then we say 4 squared plus 3 squared equals C squared. Order of operations, remember, it tells us we have to do our little exponents first. So 4 squared is going to be 16, 3 squared is going to be 9, which equals C squared. Before we can do anything else, I have to combine them. 16 plus 9 is 25 equals C squared. Do you kind of remember when we talked about how to undo that little square? Good, we take the square root. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do the little check thing on both sides, if you don't mind. And it's going to end up being what times itself gives us 25? Good, 5, and that equals C. So the hypotenuse here would be 5 units. However, Benny, this is. Let's try another one. These are one of my favorite things to do. So let's say this is 2, this is 10, and we don't know what this is. So do you remember what are the first three letters of the alphabet? Good. A, B, C. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I won't sing, I promise. So we have A squared plus B squared equals C squared. All I have to do is plug them in, and it doesn't matter if this is A and this is B, or this is B and this is A. So I could do 10 squared plus 2 squared equals C squared. I have to square first, so 10 squared is 100, 2 squared is 4 equals C squared. Okay, 100 plus 4 is 104 equals C squared. Now to undo that little squared, we have to do our square root. This one's not perfect, so I'm going to grab my handy dandy calculator and type in square root of 104. And I get a really long number, so I'm going to kind of round it off to the nearest hundredths. And when I do that, I get approximately, because remember those squigglies mean approximately, 10.20 units, which equals C. Okay? Don't forget, because normally we'll have problems where that will tell you, hey, this is feet, this is miles, this is whatever you would like it to be. So let's try it with a fun little story problem. Actually, let's just go on to another page. And I want you to think about this. So if this is my house, yes, I have a tiny little house, okay? And I am going 3 miles, and let's just put this up here so we remember, never eat soggy waffles. And I go 3 miles to my library. That's what I'm going to use to represent my library. Then for my library, I go 5 miles to the grocery store. How should we do a grocery store? Cool. Let's try some apples. Um, okay, here's my broccoli. I apologize. I'm trying, but here's my little broccoli stalk type things. Okay, so we go to the grocery store. I want to find the fastest way home, and I'm going to pretend that there's no roads, no traffic, so the fastest way would be for me to go diagonally instead of having to go all the way back. But, as you can see, this is a right triangle. I don't know the distance. If I were to go all the way back, that means that from here to here, that's 3 miles. From here to here, this is another 5, so that's 8 miles. I would have to go back 8 miles. How much shorter would it be if I just could cut through everything and go diagonally? Let's find out. First 3 letters of the alphabet, A, B, C. Good. And then I'm just going to add little 2's on top. So, remember, these don't matter. This is the longest part of our triangle. Here is my 90-degree angle if we need that. So it's going to be 3 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. 3 squared is 9. 5 squared is 25 equals c squared. 9 plus 25 is 34, which equals c squared. But this will not work. I can't just leave it like this because it's not really 34 miles. So I need to take the square root. And this is when my handy dandy calculator comes in. And it ends up being approximately, so we can round to the nearest whole, or we can actually just kind of round to the nearest tenth, which I'm thinking I might do. So it's approximately 5.8 miles. So this is only 5.8 miles instead of having to go all the way back around. That's like me just going back to the library. Look at how much shorter that is. It's kind of cool. So it'd be nice if we could all kind of go kind of like birds and pretend that there's no traffic in our way. But we will be touching upon this more as we go throughout the semester. So please feel free to ask questions.